Hello, everyone. I have issues with connections. Welcome, everyone. So this is Friday. Welcome to the CEO Mind. My name is Samantha. Hi. I have an issue streaming to my own page right now. So what I need to do is I need to reconnect. Just give me a moment. So strange. Hang on, yeah. Okay. No, the connection is not on. Okay. Right. What am I going to do this about this? Yeah. Basically, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just saw an error that I'm not streaming right now. So let me just check on my mobile phone and see whether I'm streaming or not. Those people that actually see me on my page, I am Samantha Chi page. Please do give me a response that you see me, and then um give access to StreamYard so that I can actually call out your name instead of calling you Facebook user. Okay. Let me just check and see whether this glitch is going to happen. Okay. But today we're very, very excited because you guys see me. Okay, the one who actually gave me a thumbs up, right? Just let me know where you are from. If let's say you are from like Singapore, give a heart shape. The reason why is because today we have a Singapore guest. Okay, those were from Malaysia, give me a thumbs up. Okay, and those were you. If let's say you are from other countries, you're from like Asian countries, you are from like overseas Europe, United States, give me an angry face so that I know that you are not from Singapore and Malaysia. Okay, yeah, but welcome everybody. Today it's day probably 1 2 3 4 5 6, the fifth day or sixth day of lockdown already in Malaysia. So today, reason why I get this honored speaker to come on is because that I really want her to come and share her insights for those people that are struggling on retails, on brick and mortars. If you have a store, if you have a shop, now you're thinking like, what is the next thing that you are thinking about? And I sort of like realized that if let's say you're having a retail, you can't open, right? Even for me, my factory was locked down. I'm already panicking. And most of the time during a lockdown or during pandemic as such, which is very, very unique right now, your first in line, your retail is going to get stopped, right? Your food, okay, you probably still have your restaurant. So now you have a few questions in mind, like, should I have a stall, or should I operate from home, or should I still have my storefront, right? These are a few questions that's I'm probably think that a lot of people are burning. So without further ado, let me just invite our honored guest, Edith, from Property Bank Singapore. So let's say we can welcome them. If there's no clapping hands out. So put in a thumbs up if let's say once Edith is here, so that you can welcome my honored guest. Welcome, Edith.
Hi. Thank you, Samantha. Yeah, I read about Malaysia having even, a hike in the number of, situations in COVID.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm certainly feeling very glad to be sharing. I think amongst here, you're from Malaysia, you have your Malaysia fans. Yeah,
Yep.
and I think we are here to help people be a pandemic proof. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, Edith, do you want to share a little bit about what you do currently and what have you helped other people with? Like, what do you do? Yeah.
Yeah. So I run a real estate brokerage company in Singapore. So I have been in this trade for like 20 over years. So guess what my age? So anyway, just a little bit of my background. So I graduated in international business. So my dream was, in fact, to fly everywhere. When I came from a humble family that cannot afford all the expensive trips, and I didn't want to be a air stewardess. So one of the reasons why I take on international business was to actually get out of Singapore and fly at company's expense. And also during that time, I could speak two languages. I could speak Japanese and German. Okay, something that
Wow.
a lot of you do not know. So I could actually get my food, when I'm in those countries. So conversational is never a problem. Now, of course, I've returned everything back to the teacher. So talking back on the real estate forefront, I started, in fact, overseas real estate before I came to Singapore. So one
Mm,
of the why I'm telling you I'm so closely connected with Malaysia. My very first property job is in fact with MBF. So during that time, they have a Singapore branch, and that was when we were selling a lot of Malaysian properties in the hotels. And
right.
Singaporeans are crazy to buy Malaysian properties during that time. So it was like 5 minutes, and then they can book up a property. And
Yep.
subsequently after that, I worked for the government-linked company called Semcorp, which is Sembawang Corporation, that manages a few properties worldwide. So that includes Batam and Bintan, Vietnam, Singapore Industrial Park, and Wuxi, Singapore Industrial Park. And for me, very differently is because then I have my daughter. So that was actually the reason for me to be grounded in Singapore. And I decided to join Knight Frank to help them market industrial properties. So that's how my
Wow.
property journey started. And today, fast forward, I had an agency in 2010, and we just celebrated our 11th year. It's called Property Bank. And I'm glad to say that I gifted a book to my company at the 10th anniversary. And this book is just right behind, this way,
Mm,
okay, called Property Blueprint for Businesses. So it's one of my projects that I wanted to do during my retirement to tell about real estate stories. But I
right.
fast tracked it first for a birthday gift for the company. And second is to share with the audience, the business community, that don't look upon real estate as moving from one place to another. There's always a lot of meaning behind real estate, and the business is very well connected. In fact, they
Mm.
are lifetime partners.
Yeah. So I just give an example why I suddenly wanted you so badly to be on this live show. The reason why is because I have a lot of burning questions for all the entrepreneurs out
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
Because number one, those people that are in retail, I'm not sure how many of you are in retail. Let's say you have a retail store, meaning to say you have like a door, okay, where you need to get customers. Okay, that's the definition of retails, right?
Mm.
Just give me, just type in retail in the chat box. Let me know that you are a retail owner. So you like, I have friends that are like they can't operate because their main business income is not happening. So I'm in B2B, so I'm in the manufacturing. So we were like the first to get to operate most of the time because
Yes.
we
Essential
are,
services.
yeah, so we're not essential, but we get to open up faster, okay? And then after that, those people who actually have like so I actually have a shop lot that rented out to a florist, you see.
So
So
you're an investor
I'm an
as well.
investor, lah, so called small investor. So that particular one thing, every time lockdown, they are the first one who kena, right? They are the first one who don't get to operate. So
Mm.
if let's say I'm the tenant, I will feel bad also because the reason why is because every time I got locked down. So how do I calculate? Is there like a way? This is one of my questions. Hopefully we get to cover in this discussion, you see. Like, is there a way that I can know what is my next business plan, right? If this, like Malaysia is very typical, like on and off, on and off, on and off. Don't know how many times already, right? Don't
Yeah.
know MCO, EMCO, CMCO. Don't know what MCO already
Yes.
all come out
And
already.
now they call it
FMC.
national. Yes, recovery plan. Yeah.
So
So it's just a change of name, but
yeah,
still very much that you cannot predetermine when the next lockdown is going to happen. Yeah,
Correct.
I think it's the same. As Singapore sometimes get a little bit complacent, then we started the recent lockdown, which was like for a month. Okay, most people don't really call it a lockdown, but for the office sector, we are still by default need to work from home. So that's our government statement. Unless you need to go back to office for specific reason. Yeah. So back to your question, I think it's not just about this lockdown that you have to think about how much per square foot I'm paying, how much revenue I'm getting. It happens long before the long before this happened. This COVID happened. In fact, it is only during this time that suddenly we realize that there's a lot more things that we have to be really, really concerned about. So I thought I just show you really some of the things that I have prepared for one of the conferences. And in fact, it's very, very apt to share here. So we call this retail meltdown in the recent 2 years. Really, really, big brands like Prima Tower, Robinson, all these are brands that has been like, 100 years for
Exactly.
Robinson? Yeah.
Yes.
And this problem is not just COVID, but let's also look at, I think I just prepare a few slides to share. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Lucy
it's
is
closed
saying that
down.
rental is very challenging during COVID. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
closed
those
down
people who
year
are doing like
020.
yoga and all those, right? Also, like
Mm.
those people who has a retail, right? Physically, they used to have like yoga space, gym. So
Mm.
definitely, Edith, you need to help us with this
Yes,
particular thing. Like,
yes.
how do I
Okay,
know
let,
whether I
let
should
me
let
let me
go?
let me just maybe
Yeah.
I jump back. So we say we blame COVID. Then next thing we blame landlords, because situation like that you expect landlords to not charge
Free
rent.
rental.
Yeah,
Yes. Free
zero.
rental.
Then our dear Sam will say that, then who's going to service the loan? I can
Correct.
defray paying the loan, but I cannot don't pay the loan. I also have my obligation. Yeah.
Mm,
Then so we blame COVID, we blame landlords, and then but I will say urge you to think again. So the problem is deeper than you think, and in this situation here, landlords are being dragged into this whole game as well, because the
mm,
retailers are suffering. Yeah.
yeah.
So I have to say that be brave. Okay. Be brave, because what is ahead of you is just like a maze. And I think everybody is not knowing what to do. So back to what Sam you were asking about, what can the retailers do, right? So
Mm,
it's about calculating how much you're getting from one of the outlet.
mm.
What is your income flow versus your outflow? And
So, meaning to
question
say,
is, mm,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So how do you actually, the income? Of course, in the short term, you cannot get anyone. You probably say that, oh, I'm stuck because the landlord says that I cannot, pack and go. I'm not sure about in Malaysia, but in Singapore, some tenants will say, oh, no problem, I just leave my security deposit with the landlord, then I can go already. Then I just like total more, during the night I shift out all my inventory, and then the next day the landlord come, and then a landlord can just put their padlock over, I don't care. So padlock, so calculate. I would say that I urge that everyone in business. I think your previous topic was about, do you go and file for bankruptcy? So unless
Correct.
you're planning to do that, if you're planning to surface back again, you can't
Yeah,
say that, okay, today I run away, I use my wife's name, for another shop and all that. I mean, the
correct.
market is that small. Yeah. So first of all, yes, you are apt. Calculate how much you are getting from the income versus your
Mm,
outlay. And
mm,
my question is always this case. Shops are always packed with inventory because they always feel that my customers need the inventory.
yeah.
And then
Not
some of
only
them,
that, we already put in so much money on a renovation. You
yes,
have to think about it. Right. So probably like let's say a yoga studio, right? Or I think just now Lucine did comment like we're running yoga and sound therapy center.
Thank you,
So
Lucy.
yes, so basically it's like this. Like if let's say I want to make a very zen space, I make floorings, I make the whole wooden stuff,
Yes,
I
it
put in a lot
sunk
of things. So I've already invested probably 50K Sing or
more. Yes.
100K or more. Though for this rented space. Right now, lockdown, nobody comes, right? Literally
And
there's
on top
no
of that,
sales.
Sam, on
Yeah,
top of that, the moment it's open, you still have to have, even nobody come, you have to have basic cleaning. You have
correct.
to make sure that it is, some of the equipment needs aircon. You probably
Mm,
even have to switch on the aircon, to
yes.
have a minimal service. So back to the question of what can we do, so yes, free rental, yes, it happens just for that couple of months, because in Singapore our government allows basically pay this in the form of rebate to the landlord, and then
Mm,
landlord will have to pass down to the tenant. If not, it's considered unlawful, and
yeah.
the
Not in
tenant
Malaysia
actually can
though.
bring it up. Yeah, so I'm saying this also to our Malaysian counterpart here. Yeah, so yoga and all that. I would say that, okay. So the question is about. In fact, at Property Bank, we have this thing called 3R framework.
Mm,
So 3R framework, the first R stands for right sizing. So Sam,
mm,
remember just now you were asking me about the yoga question, right?
yeah.
So the yoga question is that, okay, people cannot come in, but if you can get more sales by being you as the founder working out in the yoga, and then you get your filming, you get more audience,
Mm,
you are generating the income from the space.
that's a
Because
good
what
idea.
you do not want to see is leaving the space empty, not doing any work. Yeah. So the 3R right sizing also means, the first R right sizing also means that, look, I have come across one mattress company in Singapore. Mattress, um, the model may not change that much, but as basically as a owner, right, you want to bring in slightly latest, fabric, maybe the pocket spring, changes, you actually bring into your warehouse. And then over time, actually, your stock increases. And you
Correct.
forget about removing the old stock.
Mm,
So
mm,
your right sizing is not just talking about square footage, it's also
correct.
talking about how much stock you have. Yeah.
Yeah. How much inflow and the outflow
Outflow.
of
Yes.
yeah, so
Mm.
you do not want something too big and you do not want something too small. I remember in a case in Malaysia, so it was a joint. I think it was a takeover, meaning to say, this very very big conglomerate got bought up by another bigger conglomerate. So what I clearly remember, the first thing that the company exercised was to clear out all the warehouse. So the
Yes.
first thing they did was the first, very much the first step. Because they put up a lot of money to bought up the business. You see, so now they want
Mm-mm.
to start turning money on ROI from that
Mm.
businesses. What
Mm.
happens is the first step that they did was they went into the warehouse. They throw out all unnecessary stuff, like even like old stock, dead stocks. Right, they were actually throwing it out, and then they
Yeah.
were thinking how to
Even
mix.
if you give to a foundation,
Correct.
charitable organization, I think that actually help, because you're thinking that, I put in the marketing dollars, right? And then I'm going to like cheap sale and all that, it's very painful. But then
Mm.
just go for a good cause. Like my mattress friend, I think after this webinar with you, right, I'm going to call her up and say, hey, you say that you don't want to just 半买半送, right? Can you think
Mm.
of helping out,
For branding
some,
purposes, right?
yes.
I mean, just let it go. Oh, I remember one of my friend also. They were in like pet food. I'm not sure whether he's watching, but he's in pet food and he has warehousing. So what he does is that stock. It's always to the SPCA, right? It's
Mm,
always to like the pets, and what happens is they will get to have branding, in the space. You see, because
mm,
pet owners, where are the place where a lot of pet lovers go? Those people where there is like charitable people. So once they give it out, right, they can even put out a name and say, this particular company always give us this product, and it's very, very good for marketing as well. But many
Right,
people
right,
don't,
right.
right?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, yeah. So the first R just now you mentioned is actually right sizing, right? The first R is
Yes.
the right sizing. So what's the next R?
The next R is to get a replacement tenant. So sometimes, you are so badly hit by the business. Okay, I think before I jump to this second R, right, about getting a replacement tenant, I got a story that's really at my heart to tell. Okay, so last year, I think February, March, people were like enjoying their Chinese New Year in Singapore. And then, so I was quite happy that I managed to get a shoe company that already I worked for 6 months to eventually commit to a warehouse. Then come April, week 1, this company received a letter of offer, which they told me that, hey, Edith, lockdown now, I cannot receive the letter of offer. So can send what? No problem, can email to you because we also have the scanned copy. And she was telling me that, but I don't go back to office. I cannot sign. My landlord say no problem. E-signature can work. So it was like freaking out because you are a shoe company. Your retail outlet shut the doors.
Correct.
Nobody
It's a
is
panic.
walking out. So she
Correct.
said, "Well, actually, the truth is, I think we better hold this decision. We don't want to take the warehouse already. We solve our problem on hand first. We handle our retail outlets first. We go and ask rental rebate from our landlords first." So I say, hey, look, don't forget, um, to close your retail outlets. She was like stunned. Say, what do you mean by don't forget to close my retail outlets? I'm already suffering and I'm in so much pain. I say you can close your retail outlet, but you can't do so for your warehouse. Because the moment you close down your retail outlets, your stocks are going to sit somewhere. And you have to have a reorganization again. So what
Correct.
I meant by closing down, it doesn't mean you 着了. That means you run away.
Yeah.
It means to get a replacement tenant.
Correct.
And to get a replacement tenant to take over your lease. So that's the second R. So when I
Yeah.
mentioned that, I told her that, in fact, your story is already written in my book. My book called The Property Blueprint for Businesses. So it was published 1 month before the lockdown, but I was already writing it in a future state of mind, or rather because I have been in this trade for a long time and I
Yes.
can see the ups and downs of businesses. Whereas today you are probably a growing brand or very established brand, you will open all, but now because of pandemic, you come to realization. You can't do that. Yeah.
I think a lot of time a centralized warehouse is even far more important currently in the
Yes.
pandemic tone.
Yes.
I'm talking about in the pandemic tone because
Mm.
the warehouse allow you to reorganize, right?
Correct.
Let's say you shut down your retail, right? If you shut down your retail, what happens to all the racks? What happens to all the all the storefronts? So you actually can move it back to in a cheaper warehouse, move it back there first. Just wait until you've decided to reopen. Of course, there is another big deal about like retail lah, because a pain. People will say, "Hey, I want to let go my retail from my mall." If let's say I let go already, maybe I don't get that space back anymore.
Correct. Correct.
That is happening, and that's true, right? So,
Yes.
how do I also weigh this out? I've got a prime store, like for instance, let's say I'm in aesthetic, doing aesthetic. I got
It
this
took you
prime
many years,
store.
to get that
Yeah,
store.
yeah. It took me many years to get this prime store in like Bangsa, like
Ah,
easy to access on parking. But now I cannot open. I probably not opening for the last, I don't know. Aesthetic is even worse. I think aesthetic, like because it's very close
yes.
contact, you see, therapist and the so it's like I probably can't open for the remaining half of the year coming soon. Those people, I'm not sure whether any one of you guys are in aesthetic or in
Uh,
like kind of like
I share with you,
yeah.
like my beautician once can open, right? She was very hardworking to text me. But I, as a consumer, right,
You're scared, right?
Yeah, I mean, I will just pause a little while, even though I really enjoy that relaxing moment. Yeah,
Yeah,
just doing nothing and, feel so queen.
exactly.
Mhm,
So this is
mhm.
the phase where, okay, as a business owner, should I let go or not let
Okay,
go?
so I will say that it all boils down to how many do you have. If it's your flagship, you only have one. So do you let go unless you pivot your business that you are no longer in aesthetics? You want to sell products instead. You
Mm,
sell your mask and so on and so forth. Yeah.
mm,
But
mm,
if you have many, just now the shoe company that I mentioned, they
mm.
have more than 40 stores in Singapore alone. And then
Right.
I think in Malaysia, I'm sure, like for example, some of the so-called major
Bigger
retailers.
brands. Yes.
Yes, yes. They have multiple stores. That's one way of acting as a balance.
Mm,
Those I think they can cut down. But if today you are a florist, say for example your tenant, right? You only have that store. I mean, how much can you cut? You can
yeah.
reduce
And
the
then if you
size,
cut already,
but you
your
cannot
customer
give
will
up that golden spot. Some
correct.
spaces once gone, it cannot come back. I do
Ah,
have tenants who come to me and say that, oh, actually, out of the 10 stores that we had, that time, because of the landlord knows that we are doing so well, the landlord increased our rent. So we
mm,
give up that spot. And, none others have actually outperformed that particular store. So it's
exactly.
all a business decision. So on one hand, I will tell you, hey, cannot dong already, cannot justify your cost already. You
Mm,
should let go. But
mm,
if you realize that, for example, some of the whether 7-Eleven or whatever, you realize that some stores are not doing well, but they are there. So they
mm.
have this what we call the loss leader strategy. That means
Lots of
basically
business strategy.
some are meant to just keep a
Yes,
foot
of
in there,
business.
and some for a strategy so that your competitor cannot be there. Because
Ah,
for major landlords, sometimes they don't repeat or duplicate the same type of product or services.
oh, that's a very interesting insight because I'm not in retail, but I
Mm.
remember if let's say people doing franchise. Okay, I
Yeah,
remember this guru who actually
yeah,
does franchise. So
yeah.
you have like 10 stores, two or three of them are like not making money. Then
Yes.
the rest are actually making barely minimal or covering or giving you a decent income. And you probably have like two stores, right, that are like 包 meaning to say like it's like on top, like performing, and then you
Mm,
make a lot of money out of it, right? So that
mm.
is a golden goose, right? Never
Yep,
let go of that golden goose, right?
yep.
No matter how tough you are, like you want to like make sure that it holds there, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that is really an insight. What about like that the one more R, the
The third
replacement
R.
tenant we covered already, replacement tenant.
No. The third R is, oops.
Wait, let me
Can you
just
see
key
me?
in. Yep. You're here.
Okay, okay. Um, okay, so the third R is uh, move to a right size renovated space.
Mm,
Why I say so? Because a lot of times this works particularly well for those in offices.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
because for them very simply said so, right? These people, after they move out of a certain space, right, they need to find another space, and another space basically can be totally bare.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So with the totally bare space, right, it doesn't serve their purpose because renovation is a one-time off a cost. Yeah.
Mm,
So what I'm saying is that just be mindful to
yeah.
make sure that you go to the next place. Your third strategy, the R is renovated space. So for
Correct.
example, again, drawing relevance to retailer, right, is to try to utilize whatever a renovated retail space can function for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think one thing right now, if let's say you are okay lah, if this let's say you still have spare money, I'm not sure how
Yeah.
many of you still have spare money. So now it's actually a
Can have
shopping
spare
spree.
money, travel
This
less.
is like yeah. Uh this is a shopping spree time in Malaysia. Okay. There's a lot of pubs, a lot of retail, nicely and tastefully renovated, are
Yes,
now
you
on
are right. So that's the
sale.
third
Yeah,
R as well, because it's
correct.
already renovated. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You probably can own a pub for like, 30K or less, with
Mm.
all the things that is fully renovated. And think of it, if let's say today you were planning to start your business, okay? Like, so if those people that are entrepreneurial, you plan to start your business in like for maybe coming next year, okay? You can actually start book up that place, right? Get the assets and get the place. Not only the renovated space for a rental, you can even buy up the shop lot for maybe a very cheap sale. You may
Yes.
not know.
Yes.
You may have a combo, right? Renovated space plus the tenant actually, and the owner
Correct.
actually want to sell out that place. If
Correct.
you're
Correct.
hardworking enough to actually scout for it, maybe you get a really, really good
Well,
sale.
well. So Sam, give me this pointer that if a Malaysian agency out there, right? If you want to have some collaboration, right, we can certainly collaborate. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, definitely. So it's like if let's say you have Singaporeans wanted to come to Malaysia, right? you
and do
know,
you know some of the things that I myself I'm also eyeing shop houses.
yeah.
Shop
Actually,
houses in the historical streets of Malaysia. They are all very charming.
Jonker,
Yes,
Malacca.
yes. I miss traveling.
Jonker Malacca, anyone, maybe there are people who wanting it out. Of course, Jonker Malacca is a bit different because it's under the historic. I think transfer of
I
it is
think
a
even you
bit
talk about Ipoh lah, for example.
yeah,
You talk about basically some streets or even some KL locations, right? I
correct.
mean, it is certainly a time that I find that there are definitely steals for purchase, and I think if you are a healthy business right now, you already get rid of the excess space, and this is a good time that you also rationalize between your renter versus the installment. So you
Mm,
could even be talking to your owner right now to look
mm.
into purchase. But if you are going to approach the owner directly, right, I think please be a little bit smart because the owner knows that you are the one. So you can, of course, go through a broker and then approach the owner.
Now I know. Okay, so meaning to say, if let's say I am the owner, I already like let's say I'm the owner, I already know that you are there, so I will not let go the place.
Yes.
Correct or
Yes, you
not?
can what we call 狮子开大口 ah. No offense
Correct.
to the owner. Owners, you're always right to ask for the highest price.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it's definitely my rights, right? Because I
Yeah.
know that you are there, you've renovated, you have
Mm.
already, you have
You have been
worked
operating
there
business for a
already.
number of years already. Yeah.
Correct. So
Mm.
if I know that you were to come forth and ask me, I will definitely, not have I will not let go the opportunity lah. Correct or not?
Mm.
But if
Not
let's say
only that,
today,
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's very emotional because they emotional in the sense that of course the owner can have very high price, then the tenant was like, hey, please sell to me. Actually you display your weakness. Yeah.
okay.
So, okay, maybe this is also something that is a bit sidetracked. But Sam, I can share with you as the strategies of real estate,
Mm.
particularly for the business community, right? Sometimes we are even tasked to buy by the street. So I think for you guys who think that okay, I'm just doing retail, I want to tell you one of the business that I do, is data center. So
Mm,
data
mm.
center and also some other very niche industries, they really buy by the street. So when they buy by the street, right, they or they can even hunt for streets to buy. And then we are the ones.
I didn't know that they were so powerful.
Not only that, we also help childcare franchise to map out a whole plan. So this is again relevant to retailers because you are growing your numbers.
Well,
For
I
example,
didn't know that
there
a
was
property company can actually do so much on it. Like,
now you know. Yeah. Okay,
because
so
my
one year,
perception was like, okay, you guys were like,
right,
okay,
Sam,
cool. Yeah,
I actually sourced about 7 childcare center for a childcare group.
I see.
And what happened is that we were even involved in the mapping out of where to rent, because for them, rental first. So
Correct.
until they became established, our next game plan for them is to purchase. So I think you know about McDonald's, right?
Yeah, I think I
So
really like this idea.
McDonald's
Later I'll share
is
my
not
story, you share yours.
okay. McDonald's today, I think for some of you who are not into real estate per se, or not into stories, so there was this time that the CEO, he actually asked this question, what do you think McDonald's business is? So quite a number of them say, oh, burgers, French fries.
Yeah.
They name all the good
Franchise.
food. Yeah, but the answer is we are in real estate. So the students in the master class was like, what do you mean by you are in real estate? So I think case study that's taken from McDonald's is that when they were established, they started buying properties. And these properties are then being sold, rented out basically to the franchisee.
Yes.
So they actually earn a franchise fee. They also earn the food supply. They get bulk discount, okay, and they also have the rent. And over time, it
Not only that,
helps them service the installment, and plus the fact that real estate in general, not over a short term like a pandemic, like just now you're saying that you can get really good prices, but over a prolonged period of time, it always goes up.
Correct.
You rarely see it coming down.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that
in
is
Malaysia and
actually-
Singapore, yeah.
Yeah, similar. I think globally it's similar, unless the island becomes submerged underwater, so that's a very separate story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
now you share
I want to share my story of like how a lot of like small little franchises grow. So initially you started with like 10 store. Okay, just like take for example in Malaysia, we have like a lot of franchise who just came out of nowhere. Not to say nowhere lah, but like Speedmart 99. If you see recently, just public listed DIY, Mr. DIY, right? And they utilize asset strategies to actually public list. Okay, to public list. The reason why is because and also I also know some of the other very small chain store, like the $2 shop, that kind of chain store. That's how they initially where they started is they started with a suburb. So their criteria of like getting a space is more suburb, more smaller, cheaper rent. Okay, cheaper rent, like nobody was there. That was their target market. So they actually analyze the demographic. That's where they are. So eventually what happens is they rented the place for very cheap rent. They do very minimal renovations. Like they put in like either the groceries, it's just rackings, right? And your branding, right? And they were like literally like every single 1 month they will go multiple places. So they were expanding exponentially.
So by rental first.
By rental first by rental. Then after that, they realized that individual store is actually booming. A lot of traffics were coming there. What happens is they are considering to buy over the place. So when they bought over, how much? 10% initial down payment or 30% initial down payment, right? Then after that, can you imagine, because of the traffic coming there, because they were like a grocers, they were traffic attractor. So what happens is in that there is a chain effect. That stores becomes
by the whole street.
Yeah, they slowly grow. If they don't grow, other neighbors were actually growing as well. So can you imagine what is the retail price? Actually, the retail price, the shop space price, the asset property will increase over time.
Correct.
Right? And at that point of time, there's one time I remember one big chain store is because how they can get public listed immediately is because they have so much asset in whole of Malaysia, and they calculate, their entire assets. That's where they can have this big revenue to go public list, and that's how they become so powerful. And and they don't pay anything because franchisee is actually paying for it, right? That
Yes,
model is like
yes,
crazy. It's
yes.
really really crazy.
On the other hand, right, I would say that even for franchisees yourself, right, you may
Mm,
be thinking that, oh, that's the franchisor's game.
correct.
I would say, on the other hand, if you yourself, you own a property, what you can do is, I think sounds like there's an echo.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So the franchisee can certainly buy a property and run the franchise business. So that's another way, because there's left and right pocket, okay, involved, because you anyway you still need to pay your rent. So you pay the rent in the form of installment, because you own
Mm,
it. Yeah.
correct.
So when then comes upon a time, like let's say for whatsoever reason that the franchisee doesn't want to continue, the
Mm,
modeling of the property is already there. The crowd that's attracted is already there. And this
mm,
franchisee can then decide to exit from the property. So I,
mm.
I think here, even though our topic today is retailer SOS, right?
Yeah.
We are actually going into a time, I mean, I'm wearing the future lens for you guys here,
Yes, appreciate it.
because right now, if you see a near lens, right, you'll say that, oh, everything is so problematic. But if
Correct.
you place yourself above that, right, there's
Mm,
always what we say, that you take the long tail approach and the short tail. Okay,
correct.
you have to solve your current problem right now, because we don't run your business. So I know that retailers, you have problems such as manpower, and then you
Cash
have this
flow.
rental, cash
Yes.
flow, and I would say that even my 3R is not going to like forever help you, because the root problems stay. So I myself actually come out of this book that is to serve bigger audience, and this bigger audience itself is, we're talking about businesses on their business journey. So the
Mm,
business life cycle, what
mm,
property approach you take from day
mm.
one as a startup, you can certainly be a co-working space. Then what do you take when you grow? Because you can grow until quite massively. And
Yes.
finally, before you, let's say, mature, do you then make a buying decision or not? Because in my book, actually, I share about a story about a duck rice, a traditional. If you go and ask your daddy, mommy, or even your grandfather, grandmother, right? Those were very hardship days during their time. But we also see that there were like property people, property tycoons. It can be, so this duck rice that I mentioned in my book, it's just a very normal duck rice company. Yes, you're right. It's about making property as part of your business plan. And
Mm,
so after they save some money, they start buying the property. And when they buy it, they own the shop. And
mm,
in the news, they say that we are selling our recipe for
mm.
$4 million. So it sounds
Wow.
and it makes the headlines. It really make the headlines.
Seriously? So they
Yes,
actually announced that they will sell the recipe for 4 million.
correct. But
Oh, I really love Singapore.
underlying, it's
Underlying.
recipe plus the shop house.
But it's actually making value as well. The reason why
Yes.
is because if let's say I were to just sell my recipe, well, I'm not Coca-Cola, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
maybe people don't value it that much. But if let's say
mm,
I sell my recipe for 4 million, but actually I gave you also the assets. I'm very
correct.
sure that there are takers. I'm pretty sure that there are takers, right?
Yep.
What was
Mm.
it taken?
Yes. And then who took it is the second generation of an IT company. who wants
Exactly.
to branch out into the food business.
Food business.
Yes. So money is not the key issue, but diversification of the family's business. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then I think because of the, I'm also watching our time, I thought I want to give as much value as possible, just to remind our dear friends here, when retailers are in very 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 tightly thinking that what do I do with my space. I would say that, look, the topic that Sam you put was that it's when you are selling products, right? Do you just go online and then forget about your shops? Okay,
Correct.
so we know that retail pivots to e-commerce, and then this is actually real. I took it from one of the pictures from Amazon. The way is fully automated. Okay,
Yes.
so you can see that, for example, okay, the next slide I'm going to share. Okay, so yes, the story that I tell you guys of the shoe story, right? Shoe company. So yeah, plan to close some, not all, because people still want that user experience. They
Correct.
still want to see the presence of the shops. So you actually have to work out whether by closing, is it going to be you definitely save some costs, and with this cost you actually put your stocks back to the warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Then also for those in F&B, aside from you think of just food delivery, right? You should in fact have a cloud kitchen island wide. I think especially Malaysia is a much bigger country
Demographic.
than we
Yes.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have so like okay, one idea, maybe Sam, you can link me up. When we travel, right, we go to Malaysia, there will be like bus stopover. So now what happened to all these large parcel of spaces? What
Correct.
happened to the retail shops? I don't know. Yeah. But if some of these begin to pivot to like delivery for food, I think that will also work.
Yeah. I think this is very interesting. Okay, because today, just today, we're in an entrepreneur group. We're really talking about vertical farming.
Mm.
So
Oh,
this is
really? Okay. Wow.
yeah.
I mean, we didn't rehearse before this, right?
Yes, correct. So because my manufacturer, there are many people approaching me to actually get all these boxes manufactured. So I was actually asking an entrepreneur group, like, whether is this demandable? What is the future trend are we looking at with this business? You see, and we see there's a lot of positive note because of the pandemic sense, right? We just realized that many people wanted to go vertical farming, or maybe your warehouse, right, can turn into a farm. Right.
Yes.
Your property can actually turn into a place. Yeah.
Right.
For farming. Right.
So this already has happened in Singapore last year. So these 2 years, but one of the things about farming is that they need a lot of water supply. So I think for Singapore, we are more resource lean, and I think the government is also watching the usage of such resources. Yeah. So it's kind of regulated. I don't know about Malaysia. Yeah. But you see here, I
Water
want
is
to
cheaper in
also,
Malaysia.
huh? Again?
Water is cheaper in Malaysia.
Yes, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think when we see just now about the vertical farming, right? The latest I heard, even for farming of fish is going to go vertical. So
Yes.
I have not seen one, but I'm like kind of
Oh,
very amazed. Yeah.
I just want to let you know. So earlier, my husband was actually in this course of vertical farming of Sri Lanka crab. Okay. so,
Wow.
so, so there is
I've
this
taken my
course
dinner, but I don't
yeah,
mind it for supper.
so it was a vertical farming, like they were stacking like the crabs into like condominiums, okay, and they
Yes.
put a very good name of it. I think don't know
Mm-mm.
Low or something like that. So
Wow, low, which is
yeah,
like
low, which is
towers, right?
really
Towers
vertical.
of crab. Yeah. Wow,
Correct, and
nice,
it's
nice.
actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
safeguard your business against the pandemic. right? So this is something that I have in mind for the entrepreneur group, right? If enough of you start coming by, right? In fact, I have a so-called course, which I like to share with you all about
Mm.
thinking about vaccine, because vaccine itself, right? If you look at it, have you taken your dose of vaccine already?
I have not. I have
You have
not.
not. I've already taken 2 doses.
Yeah, Singapore is very fast. I think they have
Yes.
basically gone down to how many percent of vaccinations already?
I think probably about 50. Yeah.
Yeah, fifty
Yeah. But
percent.
then
Yeah,
again, because different age group has different percentile. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I like to remind businesses to take your vaccine,
Yep.
because this pandemic actually shows very clearly what happened. If like our own story, right? 2019 March,
Yep.
we own a property under basically which our company is renting. And then after that, we realized that most of our people are always traveling to for appointment. And
Mm.
then we decided to take our own vaccine first. So what we did was 2019, we rented our property,
Mm.
office unit.
Mm.
In fact, very near to Bugis. I think for Malaysians, if you come to Singapore, I
Bugis Street.
think, yeah, a lot of you guys are very familiar with Bugis. So
Mm.
we rented out, and we rented out. I think we count ourselves lucky. We actually rented out to someone who will always need the space. Yeah.
Mm.
So I think before this session start, right? Um, you were asking me, hey, can business do without property or not? I say can be without property, because now we say that a lot of them work from home, right?
Go
But to
online.
efficiently uh, function, right? Let me ask you a question, which is again covered in my book. Um, your dental clinic,
Yes.
can you not visit your dentist?
Correct.
And then you go and learn, online.
Online. How to
Yeah.
extract your teeth yourself.
I think maybe we should ask Dr. Tristan Pei,
Let's
show
invite
to
him.
extract, right?
Let's
It
invite
can
him.
never be done. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you can only basically draw out your tooth by a professional, which is the
Correct.
dentist. And there's
Correct.
also the chair. You cannot buy a chair at home and then extract the teeth one time, right? In
Correct.
fact, you can't send a grab and grab the dentist to your home and pull out your tooth. Can
Correct.
during grandmother's day lah, that's for
Yeah.
children's teeth
My
slam
kids,
the
my
door.
kids extract themselves one. They will just pull
Yeah.
it out
Ah,
themselves.
yes, but adult or whatever, even if you put your fillers, you can't. So
Yeah.
dentists must have a physical space.
Edith,
Doctors,
what are the businesses that definitely need a retail? Let's give our audience an insight. Dentists, doctors, what else?
childcare. You need to
Childcare,
deposit your children somewhere, right? I mean, if
not
okay
your
like you
house,
can have
right?
nanny, like you can have nanny. So that's
Yeah,
actually giving options to people, giving options to parents. Yeah.
correct,
Mm.
correct. And
Then
also aesthetic. No, you
aesthetic.
can't be like putting your
Oh, you
own
can put your
serum.
mask lah, but you don't know how to,
Correct.
take out.
Extract. Hey,
Yeah.
nowadays not only mask less, so people go for Botox, and all those that you
Yes.
can't do it yourself,
Yes.
right, basically.
Yes. And of
Right.
course, just now I mentioned, right, my data center, you cannot store your data at home using cloud. Right? If you say cloud storage have to store somewhere. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. I
Yeah.
also have a story
Warehouse.
about a coffee
Warehouse, right?
machine. Yes, warehousing. So
Hmm.
okay, a coffee maker was actually I think before 2020. In
Mm.
fact, she took the space with me towards third quarter of 2020. So what
Mm.
happened was that during the pandemic, they started to realize a spike in home coffee. They used to actually have a showroom, and the
Mm.
showroom is for B2B. Then during the pandemic, they pivoted. What they do is that instead of you having the luxury of having coffee at cafes, right, you end up having to make your own coffee. And if your 3-in-1 coffee, you feel that the standard is not good, right, you have to get the machine from them. And in fact, it's a Malaysian company. I will share with you. I'm not sure whether they like me to mention the name. It's a very, very established Malaysian company. So what happened is they deliver the machine, and then they sell the
Yes.
coffee, the capsule.
Okay. I think I know who, because there is this few companies who started with like coffee machine rental at
Yes,
a very, very cheap price. Very,
very
very
cheap.
cheap price. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the machine was literally like at no cost. All you
Yes.
need to do is just purchase
To
their
consume the
consumables.
capsule.
Yeah, the
Yes.
consumables. And
Yeah.
I just realized that this is also a very good business model, because it's a
Mm.
subscription. Where on earth
Correct.
can you get subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
It's very important to get subscription basis kind of like business
I think
that
I should
everybody.
start one.
Yes,
Because
yes.
I have all the
Subscribe to one.
strategies,
Yeah.
Then I
True,
give
true.
you dosage by dosage,
Yeah. You
which is
actually,
like the vaccine.
many people are really looking for a subscription business because it's a long running business, right? It's the most long running, people will forget to discontinue or hassle to discontinue kind of business strategy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like you were saying about your vaccine. So vaccines, okay, just now why I put in here, right? Vaccines for business. Okay, people need to get vaccines for our COVID, right? So now, right, we were really thinking, I mean, this few entire year, I was really thinking about businesses. I was really looking into like business models. In fact, not only my business, like other people's business, I'm really very I was really curious, how can we make it so how can we give vaccines to our business, right? So that it becomes pandemic proof. I always have this in mind. So during this entire pandemic, I developed franchise. Okay, I developed franchise. Many people say, okay, definitely you want to go into like franchise of food, right? Actually, no, I did not. I actually wanted to franchise my factory out. So I wanted to sell out my technology in franchise to other countries. So meaning to say that I'm actually helping them to localize part productions. You see, so I just sort of developed, that kind of like, hey, this is possible because I don't need to be having a manufacturing right now. Maybe I can actually give out my recipes to other people how
Yes.
they can actually manufacture, right?
Yes.
So this is one vaccine for me. The reason why is because I realized that having this vaccine with me, come lah, doesn't matter, you lock me down, doesn't matter, because I have like maybe 10, 20
No, I
countries.
think it's about the spreading of risk. Spreading of
Correct.
risk, because one country is locked down doesn't mean another country is locked down. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we
Yeah.
lock down at different momentum. You see?
Yes.
Like I
So
was really
I
looking
think
right
I
now.
will share the first vaccine dose.
Sure.
So I coin it the V3
Mm,
because it comprises of not just one dose, it's 3 Vs. It is back to your vision for the
mm,
business. So how you want to actually transform your business. And some businesses are volume based. Some
correct.
are value based. So for
Mm,
example, a yoga, maybe if so zen you charge higher, then you are value based. But if you
correct.
saying that, okay, the more the merrier. So you have in Singapore we have this called Anytime Fitness.
Mm,
The whole game, I mean, is from US, is also a franchise model.
correct.
Is that you can access 24 hours. Nothing
Yes.
stops you from going, to have your workout in the middle of maybe 3 o'clock a.m.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So that's the volume business, because then they actually spread out based on 24 hours concept. Yeah.
mm,
So this is V3. So I think what I would do is basically I have a little gift
mm.
for you all. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's actually my maybe Sam, you want to share? It's
Yes.
basically my
Mm,
my
very
many years of hard work. Okay, that is basically the role of property in your business.
Yeah.
So I think that we wanted to touch during this time, but somehow we got kind of very excited helping people. So I
Yes.
think rather than kind of tell you too much about it, um, you can imagine the different businesses that we mentioned just now, from dentist, childcare, yoga. So one of the roles is called sales manager. So you imagine you come to a place and a shop must let you want to buy. Then it
Correct.
actually fulfill the purpose of a sales manager. Yeah.
Even a showroom, right? No point
Yes.
putting a showroom where people come in, doesn't patron and doesn't
Mm.
buy. So
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
we have businesses who actually have a
You
showroom.
can
Hey, come to my showroom, but then it doesn't evoke the
the
feeling of
emotion.
like the
Yeah.
emotion to actually
Mm.
purchase. So
Yep.
there's no
So like
point.
for example, there is a overselling of visit online, online showroom. Even for real estate, it's like virtual showroom. Yeah, I mean I browse. It's just like catalog. But
Yeah.
I want to go and touch the physical, like sofa. I want to sit down.
I want to
By the
smell the
time you
scent, man.
deliver, yes, it is
I want to
different.
smell the scent, right? It's so
Correct.
different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
some
experience is
things you need your property to function as a salesperson. Yeah. So this is the one gift I'm giving. And the other one is really I'm starting really the vaccination course. So this is something which I want to urge, and I think it's a golden opportunity. Yeah. Uh, that I want you guys to basically uh, get the link, and then
Mm.
perhaps if you really feel so happy after watching this replay, if you are not here now, please go and connect with me, which is
Yeah.
edithtay.official, and then I will certainly invite you to come by for my vaccination.
Vaccination costs, right, for the business.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I think you are such a great person. You know why? Because you started out like, I mean, why do you want to
I was
share
an
so many
employee.
things? Why do you want to share so many things about business? Because over the years, you have actually gathered so many case studies about how your businesses actually, how your partners, I would say your customers lah, okay, your customers treat you as a partner, how they want to grow their property as a business. And I
I
can tell you, a lot of businesses, a lot of companies, a lot of big brands, property as an asset and a business strategy is a very, very in-depth thing that they get finance people coming in to calculate, and then they deploy. Give you an example. Today, Samsung manufacturing, okay, they come here 5 years ago with a tax exemption, right? I don't want to say Samsung, okay? I would say most of the manufacturing, okay, I'm not related to them. So, so most of the manufacturing comes into like a third world country. Last time we were like
Yes.
more, backwards, right? When they come over, whether it's going to be Intel or whatsoever, they have this 5 years tax exemption.
Correct.
Immediately, they do a calculation whether I can purchase the land. Okay.
Yes.
The reason why is because after 10 years, I remove the plant. Okay. Even though I make no more profit from that factory, I make so much money when I leave, when I sell the plant out. Because that,
Correct.
don't know
Precisely.
how many times
I think
already.
that happens, and you are citing my cases because I have served Japanese sellers who sold their factory. Yeah.
Exactly. And they make
Even
money.
though it's a leasehold property, I mean, it's like
Correct.
30 years and plus 30 years, and then they utilize for 20 years. I mean, it's still very worth it. It's 40 years balance in Singapore. Yeah. So,
Not only
mm,
that, if you think about it, if let's say I'm such a big brand company coming into here, what do I leverage on? I actually pull in, I will go to like the most suburb, you know, deserted place, and then I
mm,
boom up that property from like very cheap all the way to like very high, right?
yeah,
So when I leave, I actually take back so much of the
correct.
property gain, and then I
Yeah.
move to another lower,
Yes.
poorer
So
country,
this is
you know.
actually what I call the property game, but in
Correct.
played in a very legitimate way. And I think,
Yes.
of course, the country also kind of wanted the employment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
a win-win.
also the basically the know-how of the technology. Yeah, so I
Correct.
think it's a win-win situation for both the government, the people, and of course the investor coming into
Yeah.
the country.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I mean, after so many years, I remain being very excited to help the businesses, because while you may say that, oh, you know so much, that's also because I'm given the opportunity to learn and partner with my the tenants or the buyers and the sellers who take up the spaces.
Correct.
So the knowledge accumulated is very deep. So please come by. If you need to private message me, or basically even ask Sam, I miss out, please connect
Yeah.
me with Edith,
Yes.
Edith. Yeah, can
So
Google
it's
my
actually
name.
at the handle there. So if let's say
Yeah.
you would like to follow me, okay, so a bit of promotion here already lah. Follow me if let's say you want to know a lot more about entrepreneur insights, because what I do is I invite a lot of different entrepreneurs to come up and share all these insights. I mean, those kind of insights you will never get from papers. You will never get from an article. You only get from like this kind of discussion, right?
Yes.
So it's very I truly honored like Edith coming by, because in this session alone, right, it makes me think about my 10 years plan. So if let's say I were to have a 10 years, where my later on, is it going to be in a commercial tower? Because I'm a manufacturing right now, right? Or am I going to be in a very big land 10 years from now with many machines, right? That determines where I want to be and who I am
Yes.
in my
Yes.
vision,
Yes.
right?
Actually, property is forever one piece of puzzle, and it's a very important piece of puzzle. And I
Mm,
always, okay, one of the quotes from me in my book is that property and businesses are lifetime partners.
yeah.
So I think I want to leave it with all of you guys. If you always feel that property has been dragging you down, it's not that property is dragging you down. It is also not pandemic that is dragging you down. It is actually you didn't have the big picture, and you are not talking to people like myself, because many times there are so many people out there. You are not sure who is the one that is connected with business as well. So
Mm,
I like to actually let you guys reach out to me.
yep.
I think certain things we can actually fire up idea, and I'm very glad that Sam, today I allow you to fire your idea that link your business to property segment as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think it's always something, because many people right now will think that, oh, quickly want to sell out the property, but to be true, a lot of rich people are buying your properties, okay, because now they are on cheap sale, they're on like shopping spree, they are waiting for this moment. A lot
Mm.
of very very rich people are waiting for this moment to come, frankly
You
speaking.
can still do the 3R lah, because I think for some retailer, if cash flow is a problem, just bear in mind my 3R that I think
Right
and
sizing,
of course yeah,
renovated space, and one more R will
replacement
be
tenant, the
replacement
second one.
tenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
remember to connect with me, and remember to also download the link. Yeah.
yeah.
Hello, Facebook user. Yeah. Do drop
So
a
we,
private
we
message.
don't really know who
Yeah.
is it, but yeah, thank
Yeah.
you so much, Edith, for joining us today. I think a lot of insightful knowledge. I hope those people are out there, you like to get connected with Edith. Don't forget, you can actually get connected with Edith on the page. If you want a blueprint, I'm going to download the blueprint myself, which is here. I'm going to download the blueprint because I want to take a look at, like, is there anything that I miss out in my business plan, right? So
Yeah.
if that happens, go ahead and download, get connected. If you like to, so I run this Facebook Live every single Friday. Every Friday there'll be different guests coming up. So I will really hope to see you guys next Friday. Have a chat about our
Thank you.
business, about how are we going to move forward, being pandemic proof. Those for you, like let's say you're you think you want to pivot on your business models, do actually join the group up here, which is the pandemic proof entrepreneurs. Key in Facebook and then you'll be able to join the group. So there are a bunch of entrepreneurs in there talking about how we can help each other to pivot. All right, so thank you so much. We really overshoot quite a lot today. Thanks, everyone. See
Okay,
you guys
bye.
next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Do take a rest over the weekend for those who can.
Yes. All
Bye.
right. Good time.